So now we're ready for the wrap up to the data discrepancies training. We're going to recount some key points, cover the resources that are available, and look at means of support, as this is new functionality and you might need call a friend or a lifeline, so to speak. Okay, let's summarize some key points to remember. Data discrepancies will run after the posting of data. So to initiate any data discrepancy process, a record must be posted. They don't run nightly. They don't run with a snapshot. When a record is posted to CALPADS, the system will start a data discrepancy process to identify any potential discrepancies. Data discrepancies can be filtered by academic year, submission type, certification cycle, record type, and severity. However, they are universally processed, meaning that CALPADS is running data discrepancies on your ODS data, not that single record, not like a rejected record in a batch file submission. And that's because the data discrepancies include cross-file validations. So when you post a record, there may not be any discrepancy in that singular record, but it might conflict with other data for that student or potentially other data in CALPADS. SENR 0028, multiple primary enrollments in CALPADS in 2 different LEAs, right? Your record's perfectly fine, but your previous district didn't exit the student. The SENR 0028 will trigger and identify you of that discrepancy. Records posted prior to a DD run start time will be included in the results if they trigger errors, but only after the run time has been completed. So remember the process, the run start time is going to tell you anything posted prior to this time will be included when the processing has completed. And that run completed time tells you that you should have a new summary and a new listing of records on your DDUI. Errors listed in the summary will not change until the DD runtime is completed. However, if the discrepancy is resolved, there will be no record detail to view in the DDUI or in the display grid. So remember, if you resolve data discrepancy and the run start time and the run completed time appear, you will not expect to find that data discrepancy listed in the summary grid or in the display grid. If you resolve a data discrepancy and CALPADS is still processing your data discrepancies, if you click the record in the display grid, an error message will occur. That's because the information in the ODS has changed, but the processing hasn't completed. So it's not necessarily reflected correctly on the data discrepancy UI. So those are key points. Hopefully we didn't convolute you. We just reminded you. All right, so resources. This is very important, right? All our new training and live trainings you can find in Bridge. We have the CSIS FigMat YouTube channel. This is the documents that trainers and analysts add, recordings that we add. Every now and then we get something from the CDE and that we're allowed to post to the channel, right? And it's, entirely to benefit you all who are doing CALPADS maintenance. The CALPADS user manual, when the data discrepancies are rolled out, the user manual will be updated. And then, of course, the FigMat CSIS web portal. You can find LEA contact information, sign up for listservs, access the Bridge LMS. If you need on-site training, right, you can contact us through there. But I do want to bring this to your attention. So the focus of this training was to familiarize you all with the data discrepancy user interface. If you're new to CALPADS, understanding how to use the system is one thing, but understanding how to resolve errors is completely different. And so I just wanted to make sure we all understood that on the FigMat CSIS YouTube training channel, under playlists, you can go to CALPADS error correction, submission reports, review documentation, right? And so if you're unfamiliar with CALPADS and you want to know how to use the error list, you have a module here. I believe my colleague Matt Clark recorded this guide to documentation. And so he talks about a lot of pertinent documentation, as well as we have navigating the error list. It's either Matt or Kyron just teaching you how to use the error list here. We have certification and validation errors. So our primary focus has been cert errors because that's the largest impediment to LEA certifying. But now that we have the data discrepancy UI, we'll add more troubleshooting videos to those common data discrepancies, and we'll add them to one of these two playlists. Some of your errors require the manipulation of files in Microsoft Excel. So the complement of videos that Marshall and I have worked on kind of will help you if you're, a novice to Microsoft Excel, get you a functioning or a fundamental ability, and you'll be able to use these videos, to submit mass changes. And then down here in the basics, right? And data discrepancy is supplemental to these basics. We have the batch file submission training. This is not for data discrepancies, but you will come across input validation rule errors. And if you want to know how to get an example how to resolve an input validation rule error, batch file rejected records, module C. So you have data discrepancies, cert errors, and input validation rules. So, there's several checks to make sure your data is accurate, and knowing how to master, the resolution of any error is essential to certifying in a timely manner. So the YouTube training channel is a great resource. And then if you're looking for support, if you're looking for instruction, if you want to schedule a training at your county office or at your school district, you can go to the CSIS web portal, but you can contact us directly using the web form here. Tell us, as descriptive as possible what you need. If you need help troubleshooting any errors or navigating the data discrepancy UI, first point of contact is always a service request, and the web portal or the web form here, which I'm circling, is the most direct method. Of course, we do have email, take some time, phone, voicemail only, and your colleagues can help you on the CSIS listserv. So those are other methods of contact and support. Feedback is always appreciated. You would have to do that through a support ticket, being that this is a recording. And thank you. We thank you for, being dedicated to your craft, accepting the new functionality and mastering it as soon as possible. All right. Have a great day.